We have a Roman Reigns return update for you, plus more details on the departure of an NXT talent and WWE's internal reaction to that ESPN review of WrestlePalooza. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. Roman Reigns returning in a hot minute. In fact, returning any hot minute now, Ross.
Yeah, Peter Insider reports that Roman Reigns is finishing up filming in the Street Fighter movie today, which is Friday. Reigns is playing Akuma Matata in the movie, which drops next year, and has been on set in Sydney, Australia recently. He might as well stay there. Get him a match on the show.
I was thinking that.
With Roman all done, he should be due to return to action any time, and as a result of being featured prominently on the Crown Jewel Perth poster, expect Roman to be back on TV promoting a match for the PLE soon.
As you say, just leave him there.
Yeah.
Just let him have a little wander around Australia for a bit.
Yeah, maybe send him over to Noel Edmonds' house for a day in New Zealand, and then, get him back to Australia. Fine.
That could be a way that you do it. Who do you put him up against? Do you do Roman and Braun again? Do you run back Roman Braun?
It'll be one of those ones in the main
Reed?
event. So you pick from the Bronze, LA Knight, Seth Rollins. I know Seth Rollins can't do, but it's round and round and round in circles with the main event seed on Raw.
Yeah, it feels like they're just doing this slow burn feud with the Vision and Roman and Seth and all that. So maybe we get a gimmick rematch of Roman and Bronson Reed.
Noel Edmonds, that's how you set it up. We have a scene at Noel Edmonds' house where Roman Reigns just forces entry. And then Noel's like, "You can't do that, sir. I will fight you, good sir." And then they have a match in Perth.
It's like, or he goes, oh, I tell you what, somebody, if you break into my house, somebody's going to slap you. But it's not gonna be me. And then Mr. Blobby appears. Blobby. Massive pop.
Armed with the banker's phone. Hits Roman Reigns on the head. Americans, I'm sorry, we've alienated you completely here. Deal or No Deal with Noel Edmonds was the show in the mid-noughties.
And then also in the mid-90s was Noel's house party featuring Mr. Blobby. All iconic scenes. I think back straight in the mix with the Bron. Do we get him back in the world title picture in time for WrestleMania?
I don't know. I don't know, Tom. Because it feels like maybe the Rock match in Saudi Arabia might be a thing in a couple of years' time.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they'll do next year.
Yeah.
That's not my problem anyway. It's Triple H's problem.
It's not my problem. But expect him back soon. I don't know whether it'll be today, because I say he's finishing up today, so might be a bit of a push to get him back on telly today. Depends how quickly he flies. I would imagine maybe next week, because then after once next week comes, it's like what, 2 weeks till WrestlePalooza? 1 week till WrestlePalooza?
They're Perth.
Of course we have.
It's been a long week, everybody. Don't worry.
It's been a long week. Baby. Yeah. So maybe then you got 1 week to do it. You could pull something together there, I reckon. Tonight is TNA Victory Road. We were set to see Masha Slamovic challenge Ash by Elegance for the Knockouts World Title. Now that has been confirmed officially by Fightful Select. That is not the case. So it was. It was initially considered that it wouldn't be there. It comes as a result of domestic abuse allegations from Masha's ex-partner Akira. Hundreds of text conversations and photos were leaked with instances of verbal, emotional, sometimes physical abuse from Masha. This led to multiple promotions pulling Masha from upcoming events, and it led to the match graphic for Masha and Ash being taken down. Not match necessarily cancelled, but taken down. Fightful Select has indeed given an update.
Yeah, they say, "We have confirmed that Masha Slamovic is not scheduled to compete on TNA Victory Road. She was originally scheduled to face Ash by Elegance in a TNA Knockouts title match. Fightful was told earlier this week she wasn't scheduled to win that match, and her contract is up soon."
Yeah, so there's some question marks over the future of Masha Slamovic with her contract coming up, and I think this recent allegations that come from her ex-partner adds to that as well. All of Masha's future bookings seem to have been cancelled with Prestige Wrestling, West Coast Pro, GCW. Her ex-partner Akira has put out a statement thanking people for their support, asking them, however, to not wish ill upon her. He says, "I believe she has good in her, that she will evolve in a positive way. I believe that she is one of the best wrestlers I've been blessed to meet. I want her to grow as a human, and I want her to continue her work as a wrestler until she finally becomes that person. Do not wish pain and suffering. Wish for change and accountability. Be better than the people who live within the world and bring nothing but pain to it." A really strong statement from Akira.
Yeah, that's not else you say there, Tom.
No, that's
magnanimous. Yes.
Magnanimous indeed. Now, when it comes to the world of the NXT NXT shed. We have one less in the shed now in the form of Jazmine Nix.
She turns down a contract, so she does, and she's brutally written off television. Yo, Wick, get out of here, essentially. But she's revealed, well, sort of deals have been put over the internet, haven't they, as to how low the offer was actually going to be, potentially.
Yeah, she confirmed her departure this week, and then when asked if injuries, first of all, were a factor in her decision, she said, not specifically my injuries, but the wear and tear that the job had on my body was one of the reasons for stepping away. I was wrestling for both TNA and NXT every Tuesday, and on the weekends without a day off. And then in terms of the money discussion, she added, ultimately it came down to the work I was putting in, and being booked was not accurate with the amount I was being offered. And no, I was not making six figures, but that is the goal. I've seen some people online who were going off about, Jazmine Nix afraid of the grind. John Cena ate tuna sandwiches in his car for 3 months. Where's your commitment? Bear in mind that Jazmine Nix was a soccer player who was offered a tryout with WWE. Wasn't like her dream to do it, and then was offered a job, and then the money wasn't enough, so she went, no, I'm going to leave then. The game is different, and I think it's like, I find it weird, like you have to be able to separate the two. Like if you were offered a job that, it wasn't necessarily your dream job, but it was a good job, but if the money wasn't right, I would think you would go. I would think you would walk.
And you've got to think in this sort of circumstance, in the wrestling business like we do, the wrestlers talk to each other. And I reckon, obviously, Jazmine Nix, not a focal point in terms of her wrestling, but she's part of Fatal Influence, who are on the show every single week. I reckon she might have had a discussion or two with fellow people who are on the show every single week. They might have been getting paid more, and considerably more than she was offered. And I think that's another reason why you might just say, oh, you don't value me as much as them. I'll just say no then. Because she has improved a lot, and obviously somebody backstage sees something in her for her to be on the show every single week.
Exactly.
So yeah, you got to do what's right for you at the end of the day, haven't you?
You've got to do what's right for you. So don't be boring and just go and just come at Jazmine Nix for wanting some more money in a job. Like that's fine.
That's life, innit?
That's life, innit? Everything's expensive. See how much Freddos are these days? Seriously. And we won't go into like, numbers and names and stuff, but obviously you and I have had conversations with people about the disparity of pay in WWE between those in the big positions and those starting out in like NXT and places like that. You need something in the middle, really.
Because obviously the wrestling business, as you mentioned there, it's all about earning your stripes and working your way to the top and this kind of thing. But it gets to a point, I guess, in people's lives where they reach a certain age, maybe. Maybe Jazmine Nix doesn't apply to that, but the money doesn't quite match up to where you are in life, and it's how much you have to sacrifice to get there, kind of thing. And if you're able to in that stage of life, there's so many things that go into a decision like Jazmine Nix turning down a contract offer. Because I imagine the work she's put in there, she would want to stay, but you've got to stay under the right terms, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Surely.
It's her decision, so bore off.
Yeah.
Decisions and opinions dominate the news today, including that review from ESPN of WrestlePalooza. You and Owen talked about this at the start of the week. Andreas Hale, the writer for ESPN, gave WrestlePalooza a C.
Completely fair.
Yeah.
The only shocking thing is you think that maybe with ESPN obviously having a working relationship now with WWE, that maybe puff pieces might have been the order of the day. This was great, even though it was average and fine.
But I like the fact that that's not the case. Yeah. WWE's internal reaction has been revealed by Fightful, who say a number of people within WWE are surprised and puzzled that ESPN would publish an article grading their first ever WWE PLE a C. Those within were openly wondering why the entertainment and sports network would want that kind of online stigma after what many considered a fairly standard event from WWE. That's from WrestleVotes, by the way, not Fightful Select. Ignore me. It's from WrestleVotes, that one. And the fact they were puzzled by it and surprised, I guess, because as you said, well, then we're media partners. You should be nice to us. But I love the fact that they weren't.
I was going to say, does it bring ESPN.com, the website, does it bring that into disrepute if they are not truthful about one thing, but then truthful about everything else? It's got to be the same about everything, surely, on a website like that.
You've got to be honest. And if you know the work of Andreas Hale, like he's written wrestling for years. He's been a wrestling fan for his entire life. He watches and talks about and analyzes everything on numerous different platforms. So, because as soon as this review came out, you had some people popping up online. I mean, there's a picture of one of them that talked about tribal. They were very tribalistic about it. Like, oh, he's obviously an AEW shill. That's why he's doing. That's why he only gave a event to see.
Well, he has eyes and ears, for Christ's sake.
Let's not rush to defend a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate company, shall we? Let's just admit that the show was just fine.
It was fine, wasn't it?
It was fine. It wasn't the worst. It was not the best. And I like the fact you've got a guy on your books who's actually going to do it like that and actually hold the company to account. And that line there is really interesting from WrestleVote, where they say, oh, we're worried about the online stigma for what many consider a fairly standard event. If that's the standard, now's the time to raise the standard. That's it. If that's, this is kind of what we do. Well, if you always do what you always do, you always get what you always got.
Yeah.
So now's the time to raise the standard. Let's maybe do it a little differently. Maybe a few more matches with a little bit more action in them. Maybe a few less long layouts of adverts and all that.
Or a little
nonsense.
bit of less promising by Triple H, because he over-promised and under-delivered based off what he said before the show went live, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to have loads of surprises, don't say there's going to be loads of surprises. That's fine, because we won't come for you for not saying there will be loads of surprises. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
We'll come for you if you say there's going to be loads of surprises and there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the surprise. Who knows? So I'm glad that exists in that way. I'm glad that it exists in that way. WTF moments for WrestlePalooza. If you want an honest appraisal of the show, it's on the Patreon later today.
Yeah, later today. All Out's video went live yesterday. It's been a busy, bloody week here at Cultaholic Wrestling, and it'll only get busier soon again.
Hey. And look, and if you've got a lovely weekend of the wrestling planned, come say hi. I'm going to be at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport on Sunday. I had a lovely message from Josh Barnett the other day saying to come ring announce for us.
Oh, I thought you were wrestling Natalia Neidhart.
Sadly, we're getting there. We're getting there. Come see Bloodsport. Josh Barnett will be there. Newcastle boy Big Lou Nixon's going to be fighting. Anthony Ogogo's on the show.
Up the Ogogo.
Up the governor. Up the Ogogo.
Lovely man.
If you're coming along, come and say hi. It'd be lovely to see you. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
Toodle pip.